Yeah, so we just happened to land at a place where there's terrible, terrible, terrible weather here in Chicago O'Hare. So if you live here, I think this is actually the truth, at least on Saturday, this Saturday. But anyways, welcome back. We are back in the cockpit in the Fenix A320, beautiful add-on, beautiful aircraft, and we're in an American Airlines livery, and we're making a flight from Denver International all the way to here in Chicago O'Hare. So the approach is pretty simple. I mean, not that simple because it's going to be a Cat 2 iOS approach, a category 2, which means that the cloud cover and the fog is actually very high in simplified terms. And we're landing on runway 9 left, relatively short, 7,500 feet long for an A320 at least. And I don't want to get into too much detail because it is not that, it's simple. But basically, we're here in this star and we're just going to follow it until Maddie. This is a waypoint, and that is where we're going to deviate and we're going to start turning to vector ourselves into the actual approach. We don't have ATC, so we're just going to do this ourselves. And yes, we're gonna go for 4,000 feet before we capture the glide slope and the localizer. And then if we go missed, if we don't see the runway on time, or there's a huge object blocking ourselves, we just climb ahead and then make a left turn to 4,000 feet to Northbrook VOR, and we're gonna hold there. Pretty straightforward, and let's see what happens. I hope there is no bad situation going on. So yeah, this is me just doing the approach, any normal approach I would make. It's an airliner, and most turbojet airliners are very, very capable of making these types of landings. But I was a little bit nervous because after I saw this, and I'm gonna play the clip for you right now and my reaction. Okay, the wind isn't that strong, but we're still gonna have to focus on. The fuck? Que pedo? Oh shit, no. Positive rate. This was the weirdest thing I have ever seen in all of Microsoft Flight Simulator. Like a crane at just blocking the runway threshold out of nowhere. Like there was no construction site of any sort, and it was just there. I mean, I have the We Love VFR add-on, if you're familiar with it, and it actually adds, some plumes and some actually kangaroo cranes and some other stuff that make it more realistic for VFR flying. But it just happened to add a kangaroo crane just blocking the runway threshold in the approach. I just happened to land there. What? Why was it there? And not only in just any runway, blocking the runway of one of the biggest airports in the world. No. I don't think it's justifiable. I mean, I'm gonna have to comment on the add-on and the reviews. I'm gonna have to leave a review like, hey, there's a kangaroo crane. Just I nearly crashed on it, but yeah, so that was a bit chaotic. But thankfully, as I now later tested it with my drone camera, you can actually crash on it. Like if I went straight through, like there are objects that react to the aircraft or not. Like if you crash on them or not. And this one you could actually crash on. I tested it with a drone camera and can't go through the little wall things, the little steel things, whatever. And that could have resulted in a crash. Thankfully, I made it, and yes, I made a weird maneuver, but this is just not justifiable. But anyways, we are safe back again, the 4,000 feet. We're gonna have to obviously change runway, like how are we gonna land back at runway 9 left? We're gonna land at runway 9 center, and we're gonna have to vector ourselves. It is from now on. It is now very simple. I mean, we just happen to be in a gap of relatively clear area, but once we start the descent to actually the glide slope, because when we reach the glide slope, we need to be at 4,000 feet. That is where we enter the soup. So let's just speed up to the final approach. There can't be any crane this time. There can't be. Just please don't just add one out of nowhere. Yes, this is not the only landing I'm gonna make, the crazy landing, because I mean we're Cat 2 circumstances, and yes, it is the weather is really terrible, and this is not gonna be the only landing. So if you're not, in order not to miss it, I just please would recommend you to subscribe. It would be very helpful, and also you would not miss any other landing. Maybe we could spot another kangaroo crane or some other thing that would interrupt our landing and nearly cause us to crash. Like making these interesting scenarios and also made these interesting landings and other stuff from any flight. So just I would highly recommend you to subscribe. And also a comment if you want to, just contribute to choosing where to fly and how to fly, the weather, etc. in real time, obviously. So yeah, I highly encourage you to subscribe, and let's now go to the landing. Sorry. Welcome to Chicago. Yes, indeed. Welcome to Chicago O'Hare. We have now finally made it. I hope you really enjoyed, and just remember to subscribe, and we'll see you on the next flight. Happy flying.